Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina set up the War Crimes Tribunal 6 years ago. Since then, 5 politicians have been hanged.
Delwar Hossain Saidi, a popular Muslim preacher and leader of Jamaat-e-Islami.
আমি যে বলি এই অমুক অমুক ছিল বলে না হ্যাঁ বাদ দিয়ে তুমি সাইদের কথা বলো আমি পারবো না বলতে সাইদের কথা বলতে যারা আমার বাড়ি দেখিনি আমি কখনো বলতেন তখন আমার পেট কষাইয়ে সিমডি মারে
When Shukoranjan Bali, seen here in the back of the vehicle, was
Motir Rahman Nizami. He was the leader of Bangladesh's largest religious party, Jamaat-e-Islami.
Assalamu alaikum. বন্ধুরা আপনারা আল জাজিরার প্রতিবেদনের অংশবিশেষ দেখেছেন আমি পুরো প্রতিবেদনটাই আপনাদেরকে দেখাচ্ছি আপনারা দেখেছেন কিভাবে সুখরঞ্জন বালি সাইদি সাহেবের সাক্ষীকে গুম করা হয়েছিল কিভাবে তাকে ইন্ডিয়া পাঠিয়ে দেওয়া হয়েছিল এবং মতিউর রহমান নিজামী কাদের মোল্লা মীর কাসেম কামরুজ্জামান সহকার কিভাবে এই স্বাধীনতার 40 বছর পরে এদের রায় কার্যকর করা হয়েছিল উঠে এসেছে ভয়ঙ্কর তথ্য আমি মূল ভিডিওতে নিয়ে যাচ্ছি যাওয়ার আগে একটি অনুরোধ বন্ধুরা আপনারা কোরআনের পাখি আল্লামা দেলোয়ার হোসেন সাইদির জন্য দোয়া করবেন যাতে কোরআনের মাঠে এসে গাইতে পারে আবারও কোরআনের গান এই কোরআনের পাখিটিকে যাতে অচিরে আমাদের কাছে ফিরে আসে আল্লাহ যাতে সেই ব্যবস্থা করে দেয় চলুন আমরা মূল ভিডিওতে চলে যাই
Delwar Hossain Saidi, a popular Muslim preacher and leader of Jamaat-e-Islami, the third largest political party in opposition. Saidi was accused of committing crimes against humanity during Bangladesh's 1971 War of Independence with Pakistan. Prosecutors accused Saidi of mass killings, rape, arson, looting and forcing minors.
আমি যে বলি এই অমুক অমুক ছিল বলে না হ্যাঁ বাদ দিয়ে তুমি সাইদের কথা বলো আমি পারবো না বলতে সাইদের কথা বলতে যারা আমার বাড়ি দেখিনি আমি কখনো বলতেন তখন আমার পেট কষাইয়ে সিমডি মারে আমার পেট কষাইয়ে আঙ্গুল দিয়ে গুঁতে মারে মানিক ও মাহাবুব দুইজনে ইয়ে করতেছে তখন এই টার্মিনাল গেছে এই ঢাকা দিয়ে তখন তার সামনে বসে আমি বল স্যার আমি যেটা জানি এইটা বলবো না আপনারা যা শিখিয়ে দেন এই বলবো তখন এইকে তো বলার পরে তবু আমাকে ওইভাবে মানে ওই আঙ্গুল দিয়ে গুঁতায় পেট কষাইয়েছে আপনাদেরকে মোড় নির্যাতন করছে হ্যাঁ আমাকে খুব রকমই করছে তখন আমি তার কাছে বলি সে ওই ট্রেনমেলের কাছে তখন ট্রেনমেল সাহেব বলে কি মাহবুব সাহেব আপনি যে সাক্ষী দেন এর সাক্ষী আপনার সর্বনাশ হয়ে যাইতেছে আমার আর একদিন বলতেছে কি তোমারে একটি বাড়ি একটি খামার দেবো আর 1.5 লাখ টাকা দেবো তুমি সাইদি সাহেবের নামের কথা বললাম আমি বলি না আমার মরা ভাইকে আমি ব্যস্ত আমি শিখেন নাই আমার এখন দেখছি দরকার নেই আমি আর খাবো না মিথ্যা দরকার নাম যারে না দেখছি আমি থেকে নামের কথা বলতে পারবো না
When Shukoranjan Bali, seen here in the back of the vehicle, was kidnapped in front of the courthouse where he was to testify before the Bangladesh International War Crimes Tribunal. 7 months after the abduction, a British journalist in Bangladesh says he has evidence proving that Bali was kidnapped by Bangladeshi security forces and is currently being held in an Indian prison.
He was taken by police officers to the border of India and he was dumped in the Indian border and picked up by the border security forces of India. They questioned him. He says in his statement he tried to explain what had happened. They disbelieved him. They apparently did treat him rather badly and he had to be taken to the hospital.
Bali was a prosecution witness who switched to the defence side in the trial of Delwar Hossain Saidi, a popular Muslim preacher and leader of Jamaat-e-Islami, the third largest political party in opposition.
Motir Rahman Nizami was convicted of genocide, rape and torture carried out during Bangladesh's War of Independence with Pakistan more than 4 decades ago. At 73 years old, history has caught up with him. Officials say he was hanged on Tuesday night inside Dhaka Central Prison. He was the leader of Bangladesh's largest religious party, Jamaat-e-Islami. Last week he lost his last legal battle when the country's top court upheld a war crimes tribunal decision to impose the death sentence.
Even though it took a long time, so many years, 45 years, but then at the end the truth prevailed.
Nizami, who served as a government minister, had been in prison since 2010. During the 1971 independence war, his party had supported Pakistan. Bangladeshi authorities say about 3 million people were killed and more than 200,000 women raped during the conflict. After his sentence was upheld, hundreds of Jamaat-e-Islami members marched in Karachi against the Supreme Court's decision. They said the trial was politically motivated and that the ruling party was out to destroy their leadership.
Mutiur Rahman Nizami He has been sentenced to death by hanging. We feel that our government should react strongly to this. International organisations should get together and fight his case so that he can be saved from this injustice.
But he wasn't saved. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina set up the War Crimes Tribunal 6 years ago. Since then, 5 politicians have been hanged, most of them from Jamaat-e-Islami party, who are strongly opposed to Hasina's government. In the past, those executions have led to violent protests. Security in Bangladesh has now been stepped up for fear of similar demonstrations. Kate King, Al Jazeera.
Well, let's take a closer look at the convicted leaders of Jamaat-e-Islami. Mohammed Kama Ruzaman, the man that we've been mainly focusing on today, the Assistant Secretary General of Jamaat-e-Islami, was found guilty of genocide and torture by a special war crimes tribunal in May last year. The same tribunal sentenced party chief Mutiur Rahman Nizami to death last week for war crimes. Another leader, Mir Qasim Ali, was also given the death penalty on Sunday, and the former party leader Ghulam Azam died in late October in a government hospital in Dhaka. He was 91. David Berman, I want to pick up that point. I mean, it's taken so long for any sort of justice to be seen in the country. And I know there's a lot of anger on the streets that many of those perpetrators have been allowed to walk free, live a normal life.
I think that's a very important issue to keep in mind when you think about these trials, because as Maqfeel al-Haq has said, these very serious crimes were committed in 1971. The numbers of deaths are disputed, but very large numbers, hundreds of thousands of people. The official figures are 3 million. Very large numbers. And the Jamaat-e-Islam as a political party did collaborate with the Pakistan military at that time and did support the fight against independence. Yet, despite that, over the years, because of various issues relating to the way politics took place in the country, the Jamaat-e-Islami was able to grow as a political party and became a significant actor in politics. So 40 years later, there was a situation in the country where many of the leaders of Jamaat-e-Islami, who people believed had been involved in collaborating with the Pakistan military during '71, were powerful politicians who seemed to be completely able to escape any possibility of accountability. And the joy that some people feel in relationship to the trial verdicts has to be seen within that context, that they have waited a long time to see the possibility of men who they believe were seriously involved in crimes during the independence war and to be brought to justice.
Toby, that's an important point, isn't it? I mean, if these men are guilty, then at least